and it's got three books. Well, he's got more than that, but he's got 3 main books.
Wait. There you go. No, sorry. So we paused there for a second. You brought up play. Why that's important?
Yeah, I think just playing with the audience. Like, I love Brecht. When I did my A-levels, I had to study Stanislavski and Brecht. They were the two, because I'm very old and Arto wasn't even a thing. So they were the two that I had. And I love Stanislavski because it was very real and it was very, and I understood that, and that was my experience of life. The older I get, the more I love Brecht, because it's that experience, it's that drawing people in, it's that pulling people and challenging them and making them think for themselves, and it is the play.
There is one book that I was given when I was studying acting, and it's The Theory of the Modern Stage. It's quite an old book now, but what it is, it's a collection of essays from different playwrights, from different technical people. So there's like lighting designers from like the 1900s. There's a lighting designer called Adolphe Adolphi who writes this essay about the plasticity of the stage, about how with light you can make it do whatever you want it to do. It's fascinating and kind of influences how I direct and things like that. But there's lots of different practitioners in there, and the Brecht essay in there is about the ABC and about the street corner theatre. And the way that it's broken down is there's an accident that happens on a street corner.
I know this story.
And you have somebody who is trying to relay what's happened, a witness trying to relay what's happened to a police officer. And the best way that they can relay what happened is by acting it out. And so that person is the actor, who is, so you got A, the actor, B, the audience, who is the police officer, and C, the story that is being told. And at no point does the police officer believe that the witness has gone through the accident. He knows that this is a witness all the way through the retelling of this story. And so there's that sort of distancing. So things like John Goddard, when he does like teachers and stuff like that, at no point do you believe that these characters, actually it's a really weird one, because you have to believe that these kids are students, but you have to remember that they are not the actual teachers, they are the kids playing the teachers. Yeah. And it's sort of like, there's this sort of like, well, you can come this close, but we're going to remind you that we're only acting.
It's the contract that you go into when you go in to watch something, isn't it? It's that suspension of disbelief. Exactly. Yeah, so you walk in as an audience member and you go, I know this isn't real, but you get invested anyway, don't you? Like, oh my God, Blood Brothers. Every time I am in pieces. Oh. I don't even cry. I don't cry anymore. I do now. I'm getting old and menopausal. But I get invested. I'm an actor. I know it's not real, and I am in pieces. We do, don't we?
Oh, I can't even listen to Define Gravity.
That's my favourite thing to sing.
That song is just like...
I do that on my gig.
Luna, is there a difference when you perform to children a lot?
Yeah.
Is there a difference there? Like we're caring about the audience, caring about...
Yeah.
Because you're great.
Yeah,
when,
it is knackering.
You know, I've worked with you when you're up here and you've got 100 kids over there. Every single one of them kids feel like you're talking to just them.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, because I think I was thinking about where I kind of stand on, not this disagreement as such, but this kind of like varying points of view on whether or not we create art for ourselves or the audience, and what that relationship is like, because it's a strange relationship, isn't it? But I think I said this when we last had this kind of chat, was that from the dawn of human beings, we've all gathered in rooms or around campfires and told stories. That's a way that we communicate as humans. It's kind of like into our core of who we are. That's a way that we that's how language was created, is through telling stories and through talking about which poisonous berries you shouldn't eat, and where's the best hunting grounds. It was kind of the foundation of who we are. And I think my opinion is that it's about both. It's about the actors and the audience, because for me, like you were saying, the suspension of belief, I think that there's so many things that I put into performances, whether or not it's for children, which is just kind of purely for pleasure, as well as like maybe educational, or some of the hard-hitting plays that I've done that cause audience members to question things, and myself to question, people's experiences. I think at the core of it all, the thing that is always present is this idea that the world can be a bit shit. Like out there, we go through a lot, and there's constantly adult things we have to worry about, or even kids. Kids go through so many worries, but for a very short space of time, we have this strange commitment that we all do as audience members and performers, where we say, okay, we're all gonna, strangers, gather in a dark room for 2 hours, and we're gonna forget that the world outside exists, and we're all gonna collectively go, we're just gonna sit in this little bubble for a while and enjoy it. And we're gonna cry, we're gonna get angry, but we're gonna use this form of communication in a totally different way. We're gonna play, which is what we were saying about earlier. And yeah, we're just going to kind of dissociate from the world for a little bit. We're going to kind of forget that it exists, and we're going to take a little break to experience what someone else is going through. And I think that's always present to me, whether or not I'm performing to kids or adults or students, anyone, is this idea of we've all made a commitment here to try something. As an actor, we're trying something. As audience members, we're trying something. We're going to see a show that we haven't seen before, or with new actors. And we're just going to kind of suspend belief for a little while, and we're going to take a little break, and we're going to feel something different, and we're going to be challenged. And whether or not it's a pantomime, which, let's be honest, like the format isn't particularly challenging in terms of emotional turmoil, but I love it because I see just as much enthusiasm from the kids who are watching it than if I was to be performing in Blood Brothers that I'd see from the adult audience members there. The kids get just as invested and just as emotional about it. And I think, for me, that's the core of all of this. It's that motion, that's that moment. Oh, is that your alarm going off?
That is me. That's saying it's 9:20.
Have you got to go?
No, not to go. But Jim will be leaving soon. But no, sorry that interrupted you there.
Sorry.
Luna.
No, that's fine.
It's also about the battery life on the mics as well. So.
Yes, it is about the battery life on the mic.
It's, for me, it's connection between people. That's what any kind of art is, whether or not you're a painter or a musician. It's about finding a way to connect with people, and you're not always going to do it. And I think that, like what you were saying earlier, creating it for yourself, that's okay. I think I said to you, if one person, I created a show recently, it was a completely new script, no one had ever heard of it, and people said, oh, are you afraid if people won't like it? And I said, yeah, of course, but I'm okay with the fact that if one person comes to see it in the entire run, if one person sees it and feels something from it, it's done its purpose. And even if that one person is one of the actors, it's done its purpose because it's had some kind of connection or communication with someone. And
so why then now, as we started this conversation, as soon as I put it out there, the audience mattering, you just went to no. Where did that come from?
I think it's because when we did a workshop in New York, and the scene ended, and everyone used to clap, and this girl went to me, "Why are you making people clap? Because then it's a performance. It's not. It's a training ground which allows and accepts failure and setbacks and all those magical things." And when I directed plays for years, I remember thinking, "Oh, I want this to be this," and it was always because I had to make that. I had to make that piece of art. I had to tell that story. I had to get those collection of actors. So it was always because it was an impulse to do it, and that impulse would be shifted if Bob and Bill and Sue and Sally had different opinions about that. So I don't. When I'm in workshops, it's not about us. Your bum being for me for those three. I don't care. Because I'm watching you make art because you have to make art.
I think I know what you mean. I agree. It's about not being affected by the judgment. I do agree with that, and it's the same thing that you said about you can't control how they receive it.
Exactly.
And you're right about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what I was saying about I when I perform, the thing that gets rid of my anxiety is actually that non-expectation that I put on myself.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's a weird one because I don't really care what the audience think of what I do. I do what I do because I love it.
You have to do it.
Yeah, because I love it, because I have to do it, because I want to do it. And if one person in that audience loves it, great. If one person in that audience walks out and goes, "What a crock of shit," great. Well, I can't do anything different.
But you've made them have an emotional connection.
Yeah.
So that they feel like they either need to applaud or they need to walk out.
It's
something. And what you say
so
about
you're still affecting the audience. So the audience is still important in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. You're not going to alter what you do because that person stormed out.
Absolutely
because
not.
You have to create this.
But you have to be that grounded within yourself to absolutely know that what you're doing is right.
Matters.
And matters. And matters.
That's
and matters
incredible,
and matters to you, and you know that it will matter to someone else at some point. I've got a friend who I'm actually seeing on Sunday, and he won't mind me saying his age, so I'm not going to say his name. He's 74, and 18 months, 2 years ago, he lost his wife, and he came to see one of my shows, a show that I did down at South Mill Arts, in the bar, and I knew he was coming, but I genuinely didn't know how much that show would mean to him. And he said, that is the first time that I have smiled and my cheeks have hurt.
I was there.
You were there. And my cheeks have hurt in the last 18 months. And that was why I did that show. No one, I didn't give a shit about anyone else in there. My mum was there. My dad was there. My hero was there. I love you, but I didn't give a shit about you that night because my mate was there and it made him smile, and he hadn't done that for 18 months. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
And I just think it is, like I said, it is about those connections. And I don't perform just for the audience. I do it for myself as well. But I do agree that it's like, if you can have something, if you can have one of those really cool moments, one of those rare moments of connection, I think it's amazing. But like I completely agree with what you said earlier.
It's an interesting question, because I did a modelling job yesterday, and I was interested to see how far. So this was a photographer an artist. He creates sculptures and sort of beautiful visual things, and they sell for thousands of pounds in galleries. But I was really interested to what extent his art was driven by what would sell. And it's an interesting question as to at what point where does the art stop and the commerce start? Because at one point I was doing different poses, and he said, right, well, you can't do that because that pose never sells. It's got to be this. So, and then I'm doing the thing, and then even down to, you can't wear that color won't sell. It's got to be that color. And it's the same with filmmaking. I have, again, I won't name anyone, but I have filmmaker friends, and they actually ran like a special analytical search on Google to see what terms people were Googling, like, is it vampires, is it werewolves? And then they work backwards and they write their script based on what's come up top on Google Analytics.
Do you think there's the possibility of true and longevity and success from doing that? Because when they're doing that, it's from a commercial standpoint.
Exactly, and I wonder whether.
And so, what is the true value within that?
They're not, are they still authentically making art,
No.
or are they now are they just making something to sell? But maybe that's fine. I don't know.
Oh, it's fine. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that if you're doing it from a commercial perspective, and that's your reason for doing it. That's a very valid reason.
Yeah.
But it's not the same reason as someone doing it for art.
Yes.
It's just a different reason.
So as we sort of we're wrapping this up now. Okay, bearing in mind everything that we've discussed tonight and that we've collectively shared. You brought something up earlier about talking to your younger self, your 8-year-old self. Let's say we're all getting a time machine together right now. We go back and visit our 8-year-old selves.
Oh my God.
What would we say to them?
Don't be a dickhead. That's it.
That's what you'd say to yourself?
Yeah.
You'd say that to yourself?
I would, because I have been for so many years. I was so worried about what everyone else thought, and it just turned me into an absolute dickhead.
Yeah.
I wasn't the person that I should have been, and that really frustrates me, actually, that I wasn't this person for a long time. I know I had to go through all the shit to get to this person, but if I hadn't been such a dickhead, I would have got to this a lot earlier.
Would you have any kind words for yourself?
No.
It's honest, it's fine.
I don't think I would, because I needed that snap to get out of it.
Ayvianna?
I would tell myself to listen to my own voice.
Love that.
The
Yeah,
own
that's
voice
great.
inside, because we all have a little voice inside our own head which knows. But I think it's very easy to get, especially when you're young, listen to what other people are telling you. And a lot of people told me, you're never going to be an actor. Don't be stupid. You can't be an actor. You'll never be an equity chair. You'll never be this. You'll never be that. But I knew, even when I was very young, I knew. And you've got to drown out everyone else's voice and listen. Your own voice knows.
That was a very eloquent way of saying "don't be a dickhead." That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, it's just,
Thanks for saying it for me.
I agree. It's just slightly different language, but I think we're actually on the same page.
Yeah.
No? You do this every morning, apparently. So
Yeah, I'd say that thing about keep coming back home to self, and then ask yourself, what do you need now? And if you honestly come back and you check and you go, what do you need now? And sometimes it is like ringing your best mate or getting some fresh air or eating some vegetables. But if I asked that to my teenager self when I was at university, when I come out of drama school, it wouldn't have been an easier life, but it would have a lot less mistakes. The mistakes have been beautiful as well. But I think I'd say keep coming back home to self. And it isn't about anyone else. And don't buy Nuts magazine. It's right. Just why I was like watching.
it was only £1.70, wasn't it?
Whatever it was,
Like,
FHM, all that stuff. I gave so much money. Like, don't buy a beauty magazine.
But I guess
Don't do any
it's
of
the
it.
influence that material is having on you isn't
Yeah.
necessarily always the right material that you need to be absorbing.
And it's weird, like pick your idols because they'll inevitably fail you, but pick them very carefully.
And they're not in FHM.
They're definitely not in that. FHM was like £3.60.
I know, it's dear, yeah.
But yeah, don't buy any of that crap and come back home and ask yourself the right question.
What are we saying, Luna?
I'd say worrying means you suffer twice. I'd say you can worry about all of those things that you are, because I was a chronic worrier to the point of just like not being able to do anything for as young as I can remember, and it didn't change a damn thing. It didn't change a thing. I'd say to my younger self, things are going to happen to you. Some terrible things are going to happen to you anyway. It doesn't matter how much you worry about them; they're going to happen anyway. And inevitably, you are okay. You survive at least this far. Worrying means you suffer twice, and I suffered a lot. I suffered. Well, who was it that said? I think it was an actor who said, "I've suffered a great many things that never happened." And that's true for me. And it's only really in the past couple of years that I've started to go, okay, these things are going to happen anyway, and sometimes great things happen. And if I'd stopped worrying about certain things, more great things might have happened. Just through trusting myself. And again, what you were saying, listening to your inner voice, and kind of going, no, I do trust myself. Trust yourself more, worry less. That's what I'd say.
Nice. Yeah. I think it's sort of a little bit of everything. When I was 8, was my first proper experience of being in a professional theatre, and that was at that age. That was the age where I went, oh my God, this is what I want to do. So if I was to go back to that 8-year-old, I would basically say, this is what you're going to do. Focus, concentrate on it, and don't listen to all the bullshit from the adults around you. Because you're just going to get caught up in all of their politics and all of their anxieties and all of their expectations. Concentrate on yourself, work hard at it, and you'll get there. And maybe I'd have got here a bit quicker instead of pissing around like I did.
Maybe we're all in like the perfect place right now.
I feel like I am.
You know, we put a lot on ourselves, don't we? We put a lot of pressure on
What
ourselves.
would you say to your 8-year-old?
You don't get to turn this round.
Oh yeah, nice one. Yes.
What would I say? Gosh, I would say play more, have more fun.
Hang on a second. How can you not play more?
No, but like too much stuff was too serious. Too much stuff had to be done, and doing the right thing, and should. Too much stuff should be done.
I think that's definitely. Don't be a dickhead, and there is no should.
Yeah.
But listening to everyone talking about what they'd say to their younger selves, they're
Kinda
all quite similar.
Yeah.
It's all listen to your own voice.
Yeah,
And
don't get distracted.
Don't get distracted by what other people are telling you should be or what you should do. I think that is the core of it.
Because you can be whatever you want to be, can't you?
Yeah.
And I think we tell people that they can't so much, you know, whether it's the education system or whether it's a parent or whether it's an auntie or whether it's a friend or whatever, we tell people they can't so much that they start to believe it, and it's so sad.
One of my hats is as a public speaking coach, and that is one of the hardest things I have to do is to get people to get out of their heads and stop worrying about what other people think of them.
Yeah, massively.
And it's just like, stop worrying about everything else around you. You concentrate on you.
Yeah.
You've got a story to tell. You have value in the life experiences you've been through and what have brought you to this point. And so tell that story.
And that's what we'll do.
So you say in the audience doesn't matter?
Think about it.
No,
Jim.
because
I'm joking. I just thought I'd say
But we'll leave.
damn you.
I know.
We've all definitely got stuff to take away. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff to think about. Stuff to, you know, if there is an audience out there watching or listening, we're grateful for them joining us. Of course.
Yeah.
You know, we do appreciate the audience.
Always.
And if you want to put in the order for the Don't Be a Dickhead t-shirt, I will
I'll
source
copyright
them
that,
out.
by the
Whereas
way.
audience or not, we've still experienced something here as people.
Yeah.
We've still taken something from here. But if people witness it as an audience, then that can only be a bonus. That can only be a good thing. I think.
Yeah.
Well, tell us when.
Yeah.
Tell us in the comments.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Like we do genuinely appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
With whatever we do, whatever thing that we're sharing,
Yeah.
we appreciate people coming along for the ride. So thank you, and thank you all of you for being here this evening.
Thank you.
This has been lovely.
Yeah.
This has been really nice.
If you could put the heating on next time, that would be nice.
It is so
It's
cold.
got cold all of a sudden, hasn't it?
Genuinely cold.
Yeah,
It's keeping you on the edge.
it's an old
I
building.
should have followed Niall and kept me hat.
I know. I am genuinely cold. Yeah.
I appreciate this, guys.
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you. It's been lovely.
It's the reverse clap.